Hey ho guys and gals, and hello my friends. This is your host Joe, Life with Joseph. I'm at the Riverside Car Museum at Don Laughlin's Riverside in Laughlin, Clark County, Nevada. I've been up here before years ago, many years ago, and we're going to wander through here now. So we'll see what's next. This is a RUP. It's a three-wheeler. I guess it has a VW motor in the back. I don't know a lot about these, but well, here you go. This is a 2011 Rolls-Royce Ghost that was purchased by Don Laughlin himself. Here's a 66 Triumph Bonneville. My dad had something similar. He had a Bonneville. I'm not sure of the year. Probably before 66 because we got there in 1965. And I'm going to pip in a picture of him on it right here. This is a 1952 Muntz jet. Madman Muntz was a TV and stereo guy. He was selling these for $5,500 a piece, but they cost $6,500 to make, and people weren't paying any price. So 374 were built. He lost a bucket full of money, and here you go. This is the Guinness World Record bike ridden by Emilio Scotto for going around the world a couple of times because he rode 460,000 miles on this bike. Now, Vin has a bit here, and I'm going to link to him because he talks a little bit more about it. So I like to defer to people who have done their homework, and Vin did. So you'll see that in the descript. You know my love of Cadillacs when they truly were the standard of the world. This is a 1950 convertible, 62 series. It's got a 331 V8. It does not have air conditioning, which wasn't offered until 1951. This is a beauty. Our next stop is at a 1978 Harley Davidson. It's not really the trike like we've seen, but this is a sidecar, and I don't think I've ever seen this or one like this. And this was used in the field in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So here you go. Here's another Harley branded. I'm not sure who made it, probably somebody in Italy, and I'll see if I can't look that up. But this is a 1965 Harley Davidson M50. Here's a 1949 Studebaker, and they convertible, and they are making some really good cars. And then they merged with Packard, and they eventually closed. Boy, the Hawk, the Super Hawk, they were just timeless classics. Here's a 1937 Cord. This was E.L. Cord's last effort to keep the Cord Corporation competitive at the end of the Great Depression. So these were in between the Auburns and the Duesenbergs. And there's a lot of things about this car: retractable headlights, front-wheel drive, awesome vehicle. If you knew me back in the 80s, you probably may remember that I had a folding craps table like this a guy made, and I bought it for $100. And let's just say when I lived in Fremont with my cousins, we had more than one. I'm surprised the cops never came out. I love craps. I don't play anymore. I don't shoot the dice, but I love the game. The one on the right is a 1948 Bally Fury. I don't know about the one on the left, but there's a place in Vegas, the Pinball Museum, that I may want to go to. It's got mixed reviews, and I think the guy that runs it out of a labor of love, and he's allegedly pretty insistent on you behaving yourself. So I'd like to go there, maybe in March. This is a 1907 Rio. REO is Ransom E. Olds. And he is the guy that founded Oldsmobile. that was an independent car maker prior to being absorbed by General Motors. This is Ransom E. Olds, the founder of Oldsmobile in 1897, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him right now. In 1901, Oldsmobile made 653 cars, making that the first mass-produced gasoline-powered car. And these cars had transmissions that were sourced from the Dodge brothers. Yeah, those Dodge brothers. In 1904, Ransom had a beef with Frederick Smith, his sales manager, and so Ransom set out and formed the Rio Car Company in 1904. The 1902 to 1907 Olds Model R was the first car to be assembled on an assembly line. Now, Henry Ford's was an always-on assembly line, while the Olds assembly line, you did your part, and when it was good, you manually moved the piece you were working on downstream, so to say. And in 1908, General Motors bought Oldsmobile and brought them under their wing, like Cadillac, Pontiac, Chevrolet, Buick, etc. So that's a little bit of blurb about Ransom E. Olds. Here's a 1915 Ford Speedster. Here's a 1914 Ford Model T Runabout. The chassis and the running gear was made by Henry Ford, but the body was custom built by the Dodge brothers, and they are exactly who you think they are, the founders of Dodge. There's four display cases of patches, mostly police, a little fire. The dish would just eat this stuff up. She'd be here taking pictures of everything. She was good people. This is a 1981 DeLorean, the Back to the Future car. I saw maybe a week or three ago something about the company, and I'll see if I can't find it in link. Maybe you'll see it, maybe you won't. But this is a DeLorean, and I remember these. I'm old. Our next car is a 1948 Packard convertible with the straight 8 electric windows and seats. Holy cow. Oh, here we go, dude. Way to pay attention. I'm reading the sign. What a beauty. And a convertible, too. Here's a 66 Mustang GT convertible. It's beautiful. I love the copper. I'm going to skip up here to the 55 Ford Thunderbird with the 292 V8. I worked with a guy at the end of my time, Robert. There are a few guys named Robert, but Robert was older than me, and this was going to be his last job, and he had, at the time, one of that era, first generation T-Birds. And we were chatting about it once. He looked at me and laughed and said, "You couldn't even get in the seat." Now, I understand this because I'm a big fat boy, but to him, he wasn't mean. He just said, you could never drive one of these. And I respect that. I've always wanted one of these, some type of the Mercedes two-door coupe. Convertible or not, I didn't care. This is a 1964 with a 2.3 liter 6 with overhead valves, which you'd think by 64 they sure would be. 150 horsepower, 159 pounds of torque. Guy that I bought my DeVille from, they mostly sold Cadillacs that the dealers didn't want to sell. Mine was 10 years old. I mean, it was in beautiful shape. I love that car, but a upper end dealership is not going to want to sell it. So he got these, and that's how I got the DeVille. Well, I was in there for some, God knows what, chatting there. And he had one of these Mercedes SLs. I think it was a 380. And I thought, oh my God, I want one of these. So he gives me the key. I'm just going to sit in it. And this steering wheel was literally right on top of my chest. And there is just no way. And I was so disappointed. I was disappointed like when I got in the Rolls Royce when I was in Palm Springs with the She-Devil. And I'll probably link to that if I remember. It was so disappointing. What a beautiful, I've always wanted one. This is a 1955 Buick Century. And Buick first made the Century. I'm not sure the year, but I'll text it in right here. And it's named the Century because it was the first Buick to go 100 miles an hour, stock. And one of the tells for the Century is the 4 portholes on the front fender. The lesser models only had 3. That was a styling cue in one way or another for Buick for a very long time. Here's a 1957 Cadillac, the two-door coupe. I'm going to have to look and see when Cadillac started naming their cars the coupe and sedan DeVille. I'm going to have to look that up and I'll text it in. But this one has the turbo hydromatic, the V8, 275 horsepower. It does not look to have air conditioning. And the 57s have more subtle fins than the 59s do. So here you go. One of my Hanai misjudgments had one of these when I was a kid. I'd go up and see him as a family, and his was not nearly this nice, but it was way cool to ride around in one of these. Here's a 1957 Ford Ranchero, and my dad had one of these vintages, and I guess it was really low gear, and he said it went from 0 to 90 like a rocket, but that's about where he ran out of steam. This is one of the most beautiful cars ever made. This is a 1963 Buick Riviera, but this generation is just absolutely 60 years plus years later, the styling cues are just timeless. Now, I ran into a guy, the plaintiff and I were in Marin County on a little weekend, and this guy had a parked out in front of a little grocery, and I got to chatting with him, and his had horsehair as the upholstery stuffing. So it must have been really early on in the build series, but I don't know, my memory's old, but anyway, this is a beautiful car. Here is the iconic Chevrolet, the 1957 Chevrolet. This is a two-door coupe. This has a 283. It's in the correct color. It's got the Power Glide automatic, which I think is a 2-speed, and it is just, what can you say? This is a 1968 Chevy El Camino. I had brain lock back at the Ranchero, and I couldn't remember what the hell Chevy called these. I've always liked these and the Rancheros. So I don't know what to tell you. This one's got the 396, and I love the color. Well, it's not like I'm surprised, but my most favorite car ever on God's green earth was here. It's gone now. It's kind of a lavendery 63 Cadillac, either the Fleetwood or the Coupe de Ville convertible. Jesus, what a beauty. But it's not here. They do have to change in the cars in and out. So we'll wrap up our stay here in just a sec. Well, as I'm coming down and out, one of the staff chatted me up for a second. You know me, I like to talk. I think if you're out here, it's $5 if you don't want the card. If you get the card, it's free. Hell, when we come down here all the time, it was tradition to come down here. And here I am again. So this will be the close of my review of the car museum on the 3rd floor of Don Laughlin's Riverside Casino and Resort in Laughlin, Clark County in Nevada. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. This is, as always, your host, Joe. Life with Yosef. Peace be with you. May Freya show you favor on the hunt. Oh, no, I'm filming me. That's okay.
Oh, selfies.
Oh, I'm not modest. Thank you for watching. Hold on now. May Freya show you favor on the hunt now and in the afterlife. Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
And we'll see you for the next one.